Hey y'all. I'm cozied up today in my house. It was the first snow day in like 3 years. So it snowed today, so I've been all bundled up. And I just had a couple things on my mind that I wanted to kind of share with you guys about my health and wellness journey. I've kind of had a shift in perspective in the past maybe like 4 or 5 months. I had an injury in August that kind of put me out of CrossFit for a while. And I still worked out at the gym, I still got my workouts in. It's just I wasn't able to do the intense workouts that I've done for the past 6 years. And I built a lot of muscle for the past 6 years. And I had kind of two injuries back to back that made me kind of take a step back and realize that I am only competing with myself, right? Sometimes in certain gyms or in certain environments, or even just with people that do highly athletic things, there can be this sense of competition. And I used to thrive on that. I used to love that. But when I realized that it was actually damaging me more than it was helping me, I used to think this is what pushes me, the competition. It pushes me, it makes me go harder, you know what I mean? But after having my two injuries back to back and having to take a step back, I realized that first of all, I work out to be healthy. I work out because it feels good. I work out to move my body at the most basic level is just moving my body, every day as a part of my routine for a healthy lifestyle, And, I got so caught up in CrossFit that I stopped competing with myself and started competing with other people. And I realized that the gym that I was at was kind of a toxic environment with the people there, with the coaches there. There was really a lot of toxic energy that I tried to overcome. But once you realize that the environment that you're in is not bringing out the best in you, you start to notice that it's actually not you that's the problem, it's the environment. And it's the people who are running the environment that are making it toxic. And I finally kind of woke up to realize this doesn't have to be my life. I can quit this gym and go to another gym and be perfectly fine. And that's exactly what I did. I quit that gym. And it was honestly, it was not enjoyable. Working out was becoming a burden because the people in that environment. And I was not enjoying my experience. And so I ended up quitting that gym. And it's been the best decision that I have made in a long time. I was at that gym for about 6 years, and it increasingly got more and more toxic, even though it was toxic the first time I joined. But the owners changed, and the new owner who came on was just I think she was a little bit of a narcissist and just kind of like really run by ego, and people started leaving her gym in waves, from just interacting with her in these negative situations that she was putting people in. And just the lack of respect for other people was the main theme there. And so for me, when I left that gym, I just noticed a huge weight came off my shoulders. And the next gym I joined was a completely different vibe. Like the people there, the coaches there, everybody there was just so sweet and so helpful and so supportive. And there was just the problems that I was consistently having at the toxic gym immediately disappeared. I stopped having all of those problems. The crazy part is that at the new gym, at my old gym, they would put all the scores of everybody's like workout scores on the whiteboard so everyone could see, right? When I came to this new gym, you can record your own score if you want to, but no one is recording the score for you. No one is putting up your score on front of everyone in the whiteboard. So it's very much that alone creates a vibe of you're only competing with yourself. You know what I mean? And that is so important, because the minute you start competing with other people around you is the minute you lose yourself. You know what I mean? There's just so much that goes into comparing yourself to other people that is so, sorry, I had a hair in my mouth. But it's like, the minute you start comparing and competing with other people is the minute you lose the joy of what brought you to do this sport or this activity or this workout in the first place. And if it's not enjoyable, stop doing it. You know what I mean? Like, there's no reason to put yourself through hell for a workout. You know, you should be in a place of positivity. You should be around coaches that are uplifting you, not bringing you down. You should be around people who really want to see you win and aren't competing with you in a negative way, you know? So it's like, I just realized at that point, this whole journey in the past 6 months has really been a journey of waking up to, why do I do this? Who am I doing this for? Why am I in this health journey for myself? What does it mean to me, right? Because sometimes we get into the motions of doing things and we stop thinking, why am I doing this, right? And a lot of people get to a burnout phase when they are doing things that they've always done, but they've lost the purpose. They've lost the why behind why they do what they do, you know? And so that's why it's so important. You know, obviously I didn't want to take a step back, but the injuries forced me to take a step back. And during that time, I had so many epiphanies that changed everything. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful for my injuries, because if I hadn't had those injuries, I would be still trying to fit a round peg in a square hole. You know what I mean? That was never going to work. You know, you shouldn't have to prove yourself to anybody, right? The only person you need to prove yourself to is yourself. And if people are wanting you to prove yourself to them, that's a problem with them. That's actually not a problem with you. You don't need to prove yourself to anybody, especially not at a freaking gym, especially not at a place where you come for solace and for that serotonin rush and for that boost. And so during my kind of like healthy lifestyle change, you know, I've noticed that, you know, right now, because I've basically had a problem with my ribs. Hold on one second. Okay. I basically had a problem with like my ribs popping out of place. And one side would pop out, I would get it fixed by the chiropractor. The other side would pop out, I would get that fixed by the chiropractor, and would just go back and forth. So I ended up seeing a physical therapist. They gave me a lot of exercises at the gym that I can do to increase the strength of my muscles or surrounding my rib cage and my shoulders and back muscles. And so I basically decided to pause my CrossFit membership in order to be able to do these exercises in a controlled environment and build up the strength back on my own, where I can come back to CrossFit stronger than I've ever been, you know, and not having the same reoccurring injury that I was experiencing for the past year. And so, you know, through this injury, I realized, you know, there's been times where I'm just so hyped up to do a heavy weight or to just go climb and weight. And I'm like competing and I'm like, this is, you know, I can do this. I've done this before. I can do it, you know, and I end up, you know, not really listening to my body and not really being in tune with my body and pushing myself to do things that are not necessary, but that, you know, in my head are what I think I'm capable of. And it feels good to be strong. I like feeling strong. I like lifting heavy weights, you know. That's just a part of my enjoyment when it comes to working out. I love deadlifting 215. I love, you know, push pressing 105 or, you know, snatching, back squatting, you know, like I have worked up to these weights in the last 6 years, but my injuries have made it kind of impossible for me to do them without hurting myself. So I'm kind of starting back at ground zero. And that's a hard feeling, you know, when you're starting back at kind of, you know, realizing that you need to pull back and build up to the same level, you know, that you were at before, you know. And so there's just been a lot of things going on in my life that have forced me to make decisions that are in my best interest, right? And so, I realized for myself, why I work out is just to feel good, I've been taking it easy, and that's completely okay. I work out really hard, I move my body, but I'm focusing on kind of physical therapy at my gym versus just competition weightlifting, And so, there's a shift in focus to correct an injury. And I've done this before when I had bad form, specifically for my back squat. I was struggling in my form to get down parallel with my knees or below parallel into the proper squat position. So I dropped weight. I worked on my form at a lower weight until I started to get the hang of it and build those muscles. And immediately when I started putting on weight since then, it just built up fast. I was able to lift higher weight than I had ever lifted just by going back down in weight and strength building from there, And so there's times in your workout health fitness journey where you will, whether you want to or not, have to take a step back. And during that step back, really think, why am I doing this? Am I doing this for other people? Am I doing this for myself? Am I doing this because I'm just so used to doing it? Why? And I realized for myself, I just want to be healthy. I'm not trying to compete in the CrossFit Games. You know what I mean? I just want to be healthy. I want to move my body. I want to enjoy working out. That's the whole thing that attracted me to CrossFit from the very beginning, was how fun it was. I really enjoyed the fun of working out, and pushing myself to high intensity cardio, there's a lot of aspects of it that I truly enjoy. But I realized that, in taking a step back, my priorities have kind of shifted. And I just think that I'm going to come back to it with such a clean slate and such an ability to focus on myself and not pay attention to anyone else around me, but just focus solely on competing with the me yesterday. I'm competing with that person, not the person next to me, but the person I was yesterday, continuing to push myself, continuing to get better, to get stronger, to get leaner, to get more toned, and, through this journey, I've realized how happy and content I can be on my own. How happy and content I can be just working out at the gym, It doesn't have to be this complicated thing. And sometimes when you've taken time off, the best thing to do when you start back up again is just to go slow at your own pace, I'm talking when I go to the gym, I do like a 30-minute incline walk, go up to 5, go up to 6, go up to 7, and just steadily increase the incline. And it's almost like hiking, and I can tell my legs are getting built out and I'm starting to get that muscle tone back, because it was almost like I had, taken such a step back that, I was not feeling like myself. And so once I started getting back in the gym and doing things that I know are good for me and doing the back exercises and the things that my physical therapist suggested, I just instantly felt so good. It's just, what I realized about why I started working out in the first place was really because it helped my mental health. Working out and getting that serotonin boost and pushing yourself and getting that high intensity cardio, I really saw just how much it improved my mental health. And it was such a drastic change in my mental strength, right? I realized that as my body got stronger, my mind got stronger, and I was realizing I can set a goal, accomplish that goal, and it sends that reward center up to my brain of, you accomplished that goal, you did it, and that for someone with ADHD and someone who has a hard time with goal setting, that was the biggest turnaround in my life, was, getting back to working out after kind of COVID died down and really hitting it hard in the gym and kind of building myself back up from nothing. So I've done it before, I can do it again, right? And it's not like, I've not worked out for year. I've been steadily working out. I've just taken a month off here and there, because of my injuries, but even with the time off, I still stay physically active, but it's just so good, I think, to find the right environment for you. If the gym is not setting well with you, if the people aren't setting well with you, if the activity itself is not something you enjoy, switch it out. There's so many different ways to exercise. Walking, swimming, hiking, yoga, Pilates. Like, there's so many different types of exercise. You can pick whatever you want. And if it can just find something that's enjoyable to you, because you want it to be fun, right? That's what I realized is like the toxicity that I was in that other environment was killing my joy. And it was killing the enjoyment that I got from just working out. And, I really have taken this time to dig deep within myself and realize that I am solid as an individual. I am strong as an individual. And if I take a step back, it's only to give me a giant leap forward. In everything you do, there's times where you have to take a step back. Even with my music career, there was a time where I took a step back and I realized mentally, I'm just not there, even though I love music and even though I'm a great songwriter and I'm a great artist, there was a time where my mental health was not right. And I had to take a step back from even music and be like, you know what? I'll come back to this when I'm ready. And I fucking came back to it when I was ready. And, I really took a step back to take a giant leap forward. And when I came back to the music scene, I was writing doper songs. I was doing better content, better music videos. Like, I came back with a vengeance, And I just think it's so good. I heard this quote the other day and I'm going to tell you guys, but like, don't be afraid to rest when the storms of life come and blow through your life. Don't be afraid to rest, because when the storm passes by, you will fly again, And so butterflies, they take time to rest when it rains, They're not out there in the rain getting, drops on their wings, you know what I mean? They take time to rest. And when the sun comes out, that's when they fly again, And so I just think it's a really good thing to always know why you're doing what you're doing, It's so important to have a purpose, It's so important to not get swept up in trends, to not get swept up in what other people think of you, to not get swept up in seeking validation from others, but to only do things that you enjoy, that make you a better person, that bring out the best in you, right? And so I just thought it was like, sometimes bad things happen in our life and it throws us because it's like, holy shit, I was doing so good. Like, why did this happen to me? And you realize there's a reason behind everything. I'm such a firm believer in everything. There's a reason behind everything. I really believe that, And so for me, even though I couldn't see it at the time, the injuries were allowing me to go back into myself and remember why I work out. It's to be healthy. It's to feel good. That's the reason. It's not to compete. It's not to, do the heaviest weight in the room. It's not none of that. You know what I mean? I will progress as I progress. I will get stronger as I always have, But when you have injuries, it makes you take a step back. And if you let the perspective change work in your favor, you will come back stronger than ever, And so as I, go into the new year, I'm just so aware that everything in this life that I'm going to choose to do, I'm doing it for me. And yes, I am in my selfish era. I'm completely okay with being selfish. There's a time for everything, and right now is my time to put myself first. You know what I mean? And I can be a supportive wife, I can be a supportive mother, I can be a supportive friend, sister, but it's like right now in this time in 2025 my goal is to put myself first. And when you put yourself first, you have so much more to give everybody around you who loves you and supports you, you know? And so it's just so important to set goals for yourself in the new year that are solely based on what is right for you and not right for anybody else, you know? And so for me, this is a year about putting myself first, taking care of my body and not pushing it to a level that it can't keep up with, you know? Taking care of my body, my joints, my ligaments, my ribs, you know? Building those muscles to protect my structure, you know? And it's just so important, you know? Like it's just, you know, doing things for yourself, you're always gonna win. You're always gonna win, you know? When you do things for other people, you will become disappointed, you know? And so I just feel like, you know, it's so important to know the why of what you're doing and why you're doing it. And it's okay to take a step back, and that's totally fine in whatever, whether that's working out for you, whether that's a career, whether that's a transition, whether that's a job. Like, it's okay to take a step back from life and reassess, what do I want out of life? You know, what am I doing that is hurting me, and what can I do better that will bring out the best in me, you know? And everything that I do is with intention, you know? Everything I do is intentional, right? And so, you know, there's so much to be had in 2025 if we put ourselves first and we prioritize what's important to us, you know, because no one can define that for us but ourselves, you know. And so, yeah, I don't want to take too much of your time, but this is just me reminding you guys that health and wellness should not be about competition with other people. Health and wellness should not be about being the fittest, being the skinniest, being the, you know, you're in the rat race when you start comparing yourself to other people, you know, when you're comparing people to yourself to people online or whatever it is, you know, your body, you're only going to know your body the best out of everybody else, you know? And for me, you know, getting, I had a huge shift in my thinking once I realized that, you know, the medication that I was on that was constantly raising my blood sugar, I got that under control with the medication that's slowly decreasing my blood pressure. And it's been night and day difference. You know, I've been steadily losing weight, steadily maintaining and losing, you know, whereas before it was kind of steadily climbing. Even though I was working out so much, I was sugar free, I was gluten free, I was doing everything right. But, you know, my weight was kind of steadily climbing. And now that I've been on this medication to reduce blood sugar, my weight has been slowly declining and maintaining, you know? And so I just think it's so important that we figure out what is, you know, talk to our doctor, figure out what are underlying health conditions that might make my goals more harder to reach or unattainable. How do I fix those underlying health conditions? How do I help myself? And then, you know, getting back into a routine that works for you. Finding a hobby or a workout hobby that you enjoy, you know, and you know, in the new year, there's this toxic new year, new me, and I'm gonna like revamp myself, and it's great, but like, do it because you want to do it, you know, don't do it because everybody's telling you you should, you know, find it within yourself to want to do it, you know. And I've been in the swing of this for probably 6 years now, you know, just, you know, working out at my own pace, you know, and I truly enjoy it. And so once it became unenjoyable, then I had to take a step back and be like, wait a minute, you know, what am I doing this for? You know, I only want to be better than than the person I was yesterday, you know? And so be careful of that, you know? Be careful of going down the path of obsession, you know, of going down the path of perfection, you know? These are not necessary in your health and wellness journey. You know, your health and wellness journey should be positive. It should bring you joy. It should be a positive self-care, self-love thing, you know? And the minute it's not, cut it out. Cut it out. And I understand people who used to be skinny and fit and, you know, have said that they almost had an eating disorder because it was like they were constantly trying to achieve this, you know, perfect body or this perfect, just trying to achieve this perfect body. And the obsession became at a certain point unenjoyable, where every food that they had was like overthought and every workout overdone. And it's like, you don't need to be obsessed to lose weight. You don't need to be obsessed to get healthy, to move your body, to just walk every day or whatever you can do, you know? And so, be careful not to go down that obsessed path, because I've been there, and it becomes unenjoyable, you know? It's good to compete with yourself. It's good to push yourself. You know, I've always talked about progressive overload being the ultimate of losing weight and building muscle, you know, when you consistently increase the weight that you're doing. But, you know your limits, you know, don't push yourself past the point of no return and end up having injury after injury, you know, know yourself, you know your limits. And if you need, like right now, because of my injuries, I'm looking at coming back to CrossFit and modifying and subbing things out till what works for me with my physical therapist plan, you know? And so it's just important to not get swept up in, the diet culture or the skinny culture. It's just important not to get caught up in an obsession that is not bringing out the best in you. So I'm going to leave it at that. I hope you guys enjoy this new year of getting healthy and fit, and come with me on my journey. I'll be doing so much more this year, updating you guys and doing cook with me's and workout with me's. So come along with my journey, and I hope you guys can take away something from this video, and I hope you guys have a great new year.